As any other surgical intervention, dental implants come with risks too. In this video, I'll tell you about the biggest risk you surely want to avoid at any cost. You're now a few minutes away of gaining the skill to identify and avoid this risk for you. Lately, we've entered into many online arguments with quite a few people claiming other clinics, most often we hear Turkey in particular, as being much cheaper, thus perceived better, disregarding the risks which this may bring. With this video, I want to clear one thing. There can rarely exist a huge bargain in dental implantation unless it compromises your long-term health benefits. Don't get me wrong, not all clinics follow bad protocols and not all follow good ones. There are bad guys and good guys everywhere, in Bulgaria, Turkey and in the UK. The trick is to avoid the risk of being scammed is to learn how to recognize them. Imagine you run a new dental clinic with all its investments and expenses, and then you get an inquiry for dental implants from a potential patient from the UK called Anne in this imaginary story. Anne needs a price quote. Of course, you want to look professional and you request back Anne's X-ray, although it means almost nothing in the implantation protocol. And she sends you one which proves her bad teeth condition. Now, here's the tricky moment for you, your moral dilemma. Will you go for honesty and human moral, or you'd go for the cash? And I must repeat, an X-ray means close to nothing, improving enough jawbone for implantation. And no bone means no implant. As simple as that. At least it should in the ideal world. Of course, you know Anne inquired with at least 5 other clinics, and you need to hurry. Let's imagine you're pressed by your business expenses and you decide to disregard what you learn in the dental university. You need Anne and her potential 5,000 plus euros. So you send her an incredibly low all-on-6 price offer for both jaws, an offer that can rarely be beaten by others. In the back of your mind, you only hope Anne is good for implants. And now comes Anne's risk. She falls for your nice voice and agrees to your offer with free flight, free hotel, free transfers, free food, free tour, free whatever. Anne comes to the clinic with her purely natural trust in doctors being genuine in their Hippocratic oath. Anne knows nothing about dental implantation protocols. She arrives and meets the nicest version of you, who in the process discovers by the means of a 3D CBCT scan that Anne has not enough stable jawbone. So she's no good for implants. Wow, bad luck. What do you decide? To tell Anne the truth and greatly disappoint her and pay for her free flight, free hotel, free whatever and make her very disappointed and possibly angry? Or to hide the fact and go ahead and take the unjustified risk of placing the implants, likely leading to infections and big future complications. Remember, you knew well before Anne came to your clinic that she may not be good for implants, and still you sent her that great all-on 4 or 6 offer. You knew what you were getting yourself into, and now you have to finish what was started and you decide to place these implants. After a few hours, Anne is happily implanted, and after a day or two, Anne's excitement to see her new teeth pays off. Believe me, you don't want to be in Anne's shoes right now. Now, let's get back to real life. For the purpose of this video, I made a random approach to a few clinics that advertised on Facebook. Nice ads, by the way. Some were really cheap too. 3 out of 4 said yes. Here's how our conversations went. Do you notice the yes? They offered me an all-on-6, a set of 12 fixed teeth on 6 implants for both jaws. No ifs, warranties or hesitations. This is great news. My father will finally have fixed teeth again. Or maybe not for long, unless this clinic discovered a real breakthrough in dentistry. Besides that, during a phone call, the nice lady on the other side of the line told me that they do not offer zirconium crowns over implants, which in fact should never be done. And if other clinics are offering me this, then they're scamming me. What? Also, my second stay should be 10 days, which led me to think that they had no internal laboratory and had to rely on third parties, which is never good. But all of this is secondary. The important thing is they decided to go after the money and not care about my health. Here's another example. Funny enough, this time, the same x-ray returned a different diagnosis, that teeth needed to be removed and 8 implants will be placed right after extraction. Wow! Which usually is a no-go in the implantation protocol. This only proves what I mentioned previously. The x-ray is not a good base for implantation. Planning and clinics will likely fall for the cash. Additionally, quite often, clinics tend to talk about the make of implants rather than the make of zirconium, which is the most common material in dental restorations. Cheap zirconium can be 10 times cheaper than quality zirconium. You can learn more about this in a different video. A titanium bar is also sometimes required, which adds even more to the price. On the other hand, zirconium, although popular, is not always the best material for all-on-4 or 6 because it's heavier and not as flexible as G-cam, for example. What I mean is that there's a lot more to consider than just all-on-4, but many clinics prefer to keep silent about this. Unfortunately, quite often even the regular client is unaware of all of this and becomes an easy victim. The business fact is that the clinics working at low profit margins will have bigger difficulty saying no or giving bad news to patients. Such clinics are pressed by lower revenues, and every patient in the pipeline is important to keep a steady revenue stream. The medical business requires heavy investment, expensive labor force, big marketing budgets, and agile sales teams. Finding a balance between all of this is the key to surviving the business. And please remember, a 3D scan is very objective in telling you if you either have enough bone or not. Of course, in some cases, bone grafting can be done, but this rarely comes with any guarantees. In our case, at Sophia Implant Center, you'd hear our consultant say that we'll need a 3D scan before we confirm our implant case. We're always in search for a good balance between price and what we offer. We're neither the cheapest, nor want, nor need to be. Price for us is a side effect of our efforts to provide good value. Our message to the patient is always one. Your long-term health benefit is the leading factor in all of our decisions and actions. Sometimes this creates friction. Giving bad news is never easy, but we will continue to say no in cases without medical justification. Our promise is that we will never place an implant in case of lack of enough bone. For us, this is the right way to go. Okay, so what is your takeaway from all of this? The important thing to remember is that no clinic or doctor can honestly tell you they can place implants until they analyze your 3D CBCT scan. If they do, stay away, no matter how cheap their offer is. Going simply for cheap will likely cost you a lot more in the future, not only in terms of cold cash, but also in terms of suffering. Not following the right implantation protocol is the biggest risk you can take, and you need to know how to recognize it. Cheap only raises your risks.